Okay, today we're situated in Keanes Kitchens in Clare Street, Ballyhaunis, and I think we have a fairly unique situation here. It may or may not be unique, but we'll maybe establish that as we go along. But we have Emmet and Patrick Keane here, whose grandfather set up the business. I believe we'll establish that as well in due course. But I think it'd be fairly unique where you'd have two grandsons, first cousins, running a business set up by their grandfather and getting on, you know.
At times, yeah.
It's a thing. So look, welcome Emmet and Patrick, and glad to have you along. And maybe we'll go right back to the beginning. Michael Keane, I believe, was the origin of the species.
Yeah, 1937. He started the business in Knox Street, where the last couple of houses are built on Knox Street, leaving the town on the right. He set up a workshop there, making school furniture and joinery and bits and pieces.
And pottery, I think, at the time as well, yeah.
Tubular steel tables and anything going.
It's a funny coincidence now, I'm not sure about this now, but I think Curly's was established in 1937 as well, I think. And it's just ironic that business is still in operation as well, and was
still going,
Margaret
going strong,
grandfather who set up that business.
Yeah.
So I think now, I'm not sure about that, I think it's 1937. So we'll say, at that time, it was a workshop
Doing joinery, I suppose.
Freestanding dressers was what they kind of got into first, before we got into fitted furniture. It's all freestanding dressers that were going in. We were supplying hardware stores around the country, I think.
Yeah, with sort of standalone cabinets.
Yeah.
The old-fashioned dressers with the sliding glass doors. That's what they started in, and I suppose then in the 60s, my father Emmet also, and Patrick's father Patsy, joined the business, and it was 61. It was sort of formally incorporated as Keane Kitchens, or Kane Kitchens and Sons, or whatever the iteration was at the time. And they started into fitted furniture then, fitted kitchens specifically in the 70s, after this place was built. So we're in Clare Road. This place was built in 1970.
70, okay.
So it's here 51 years, still standing, most of it. So fitted furniture is where they went into their kitchens, specifically bedrooms, and it was sort of retail, selling one-off kitchens to individuals. There was a couple of people who sold.
A few agents around the country, in Limerick, Donegal,
Sligo.
Mostly in the west, and there was obviously we then shifted further into building contractors in Dublin.
Yeah.
So there was in Galway as well.
Yeah, so it shifted from one-off kitchens, then it moved into, during the sort of 80s boom, if there was such a thing, into residential sites, and nowadays that's what we do. We basically don't do any retail anymore, we're trade only. So we'd be working on building sites, we'd be getting contracts for fitting out an entire site. It might be 20 houses, it might be, give it a name, like it could be 600 houses. So it just depends on, that's what.
And where are they? Are they basically in the west or in the east, or where?
Mostly,
are they?
75% Dublin, certainly in Leinster.
We have sites going on in Galway, Limerick.
Yeah, I don't know.
Other sites pop up around the country, might be in Athlone. For instance, there's one in Carrick Cross at the minute, Thai, some Drogheda. It could be anywhere where we've established new clients, and they might just pop up. Some of them might pop up anywhere.
Yeah, there'll be builders we'll be working with for 30 years, and there'll be new ones coming along.
I would say, take the Dublin scenario for example. How did you get into Dublin in the beginning, or?
Oh, I suppose there was a relationship going way back between a lad here in town. A few people might know him, Seamus Mulrennan.
I heard of him.
Yeah, and he would have known a couple of builders. He worked here many years ago, and he would have known a couple of builders, and there was a tie-in there with a builder called Seamus Ross. And Seamus Ross and his brother-in-law, a guy called Michael Keane, ended up, if you like, being two of the largest house builders in the country. So that's where we initially got our foothold in Dublin. Then, of course, everything fell away and had to start again from scratch, I suppose, trying to rebuild the name and the reputation in Dublin again. Which probably was the most difficult thing we've done in the last 84 years, because whereas when you had people who knew what we were at and you had a relationship with them and you were working away, they weren't asking you, how can you do that down in Mayo and get it up here, etc. So you had to start
to get over that stumbling block.
Yeah.
Once that's got over the line. There's no issue at all. Being based in the West, servicing
None.
Dublin clients.
None.
What amazes me all the time is I always kind of say, you drive down the street, you see nothing happening here, and it's unbelievable the amount of stuff that's going on.
Oh yeah.
That we don't see.
Yeah.
Like even on the first interview in Midwest there in the beginning, I was explaining to Tommy Martin that you drive down the main street and you might say there's nothing in this town, but if you lift the hood,
Yeah.
there's a serious amount of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Like, would say you distribute now from here in a truck or trucks?
Yes. Truck. We've the one truck at the moment. We used to have two. There used to be a large truck as it was, and a small truck for run up overs and letterfrack and places like that, and doing the one-off stuff. But we're larger. We're looking at buying it and expanding. And getting a larger truck because of the size of the contracts are increasing. But yeah, every morning, every evening now we're loading tonight for a drop in letterfrack in the morning. So the two lads will be off in the morning.
And when you deliver them, then do you fit them as well?
Yeah, we won't. We insist on that.
Yeah.
If you're not fitting it, then you've no control over
You have to stand
the
by
finished
your
product. So we insist on that. We won't sell to a contractor that wants to fit himself.
Now, I'm assuming I know you for long years, but I mean, I assume you were around the same age. Like, when did you actually? Was there always an interest in this from kids? Were you coming in here getting a few pounds for doing bits like that?
Reminds off. No, the last place I saw myself was here.
Okay.
Growing up. In fact, the first job I ever got was with the Chamber of Commerce. The first paying job. It was a false job.
PAIN or?
Yeah. Both. Helping them with the trade fair when I was just out of college. So no, I didn't see myself here, but I was working here as a sort of a stopgap and sort of got my feet under the table, and like a lot of people, met a woman, and here I am. 94 I started, so that's 27 years ago.
And would say college-wise, what did you do in college?
I went to UCG. I did a degree in economics and maths, which I don't think I've used since. And had a plan of carry on with economics, but here I am.
And how about you, Patrick? What was?
Like him, I suppose I didn't always see myself here, but I went to college in Galway for a year. Academic life didn't really suit me, I suppose. So I went back in. I was always working here during the summers, and so I kind of did see myself coming in at some stage full time, and that kind of happened when I went there to college. So I've been here since. I suppose that'll be 97, 98, yeah.
And you found a partner as well?
I did, yeah. So we're sitting here about
So
as well.
That sorts of
I can't blame my partner for my reason being here. But yeah.
The one thing, just coming out of the car coming in, the first thing that kind of struck me was, I'm not sure if this is right or not, but the basic carcass of kitchen units hasn't changed a lot.
No, not hugely, no.
The construction of it will be the only thing that has changed, but the cabinet is the same.
Cabinet is a cabinet.
Yes.
I mean, and the range of kitchens change according to the door you put in the front of it, and how this might be dressed up, but the cabinet itself probably hasn't changed since
probably won't.
40 or in the last 40 years, I suppose. How we make it and the machinery that's used obviously has changed hugely.
But the one thing that has changed, I understand, is let's say, for example, where ovens are located now. Traditionally they were down here, now they're up at arm heights. And what I love is the corner things. When you open the corners now, you have things that will swivel out. There's great use of space now.
Yeah. Well, I suppose they're the upgrades that are put into a kitchen that make a difference. There wouldn't be a huge call on that in the residential market. That'd be more maybe a one-off product thing. But I suppose there's bins and pull-out drawers and stuff like that that are add to the practicality of the kitchens.
Yeah, I just noticed now as I was looking around the lovely showrooms here, the different little gimmicks and stuff that we don't have in our house. And well, it'll be 23 years ago we built our house, but like every few years there's new kind of.
It's always changing, the trends change.
Yeah, colours mainly, colours, and that'll change slowly, I suppose. It's about 5 years behind the UK trends, so if you look in UK trade magazines now, you'll see what will be probably sold here in 3 or 4 or 5 years.
Do you do one thing outside Ireland?
No,
it's all in Ireland.
Yeah.
And it's mainly kind of Dublin, Galway.
Galway, yeah.
Dublin, that corridor.
Limerick.
It's sort of where you can get fitters and where you can get trusted people to fit for you. So we have a crew in Dublin, and a couple of crews in the sort of Leinster area. So it's
And we've fitters here that cover the local area as well.
yeah.
In that subject now, is there nothing happening locally yet? Has it started to move yet?
Not of any volume.
No. There's no estates going up, would say, or anything like that.
There's one in Westport, but it's slow. You might be sending one every, couple of weeks, if even that.
Yeah.
There's nothing of any great volume at all.
No, not for us. There are a couple of. I see a bit more movement. All right.
But there was social housing built here as well. So I suppose that would be the only thing in terms of volume that we built. Social.
Now, it's still difficult to build a house for what you'd have to get to pay for it. You know, I mean, even a 3-bed semi, say 1,200 square feet, it's going to cost somewhere around 200,000 to build and finish, and that's probably
Price
then you have to
are-
furnish it, and you don't see that price going for a 3-bed semi.
You can buy your 3-bed semi around here for 100,000 sticks.
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem.
So
That's probably the biggest
that has to be washed through the system yet, So I don't know. But the volume certainly is in Dublin and the larger areas. Yeah.
Do you find that you need to keep up changing designs? Like I see some just over your head there now with a nice kind of a.
It's fairly slow because you'd have you might have sites which take 3 years to build through, and things don't change hugely
Once it starts.
Yeah, I mean, you have your shaker, your panel kitchens, and then you'd have your handleless kitchens, which would be more modern for sort of apartment and city living, but it doesn't.
Ranges are kind of dictated as well to us rather than us pitching to them. It's more pitched to us rather than what they want, and we
The door
supply that.
manufacturers,
Yeah.
the door manufacturers have.
They'd be on trying really more than.
So again, then you have a good few people employed here as well all the time.
Yeah, we've depending on the time of year, we have ended up to maybe 20 lads between offices, fitters, lads in for summer work.
Floor,
Yeah.
It's amazing all the parts that's involved in the.
A lot of moving parts.
I would say, do both of you work on the same aspect of the business, or?
No, it's kind of split. Emmet will be dealing with the builders we talked about. He'll be on site. I'd be over production. So then we kind of split. That was where it was. Both our fathers had kind of done that. So just carried on natural.
Outside the gate is me and inside the gate is him. So.
Never differential.
Yeah.
We get on reasonably. I know.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah.
And was there a big handover, say, from father to son scenario? Was there a time that all happened, or did both happen?
No, I think it was gradual. They both reached sort of retirement age, and maybe circumstances. The pandemic maybe shutting down last March. Dad was still coming in, a couple hours.
Yeah, my dad had gone maybe a couple of years prior to that, but it was just they served their time in fairness.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
50 and 60 years.
Yeah.
It's incredible business, really, and I'm just amazed that something can continue for so long, from 1937 to today. And would say, what age are your kids now? Are they?
I have 2 in college. The twins are 20, and I've Sarah's 12. So that's the age range of.
And yourself, Patrick?
It's 2.5, so there's a bit.
Okay, bit of a gap there, yeah. And is there any sign of, are yours coming in here helping out or doing any weekend work?
Well, Ethan has come in over the summer, but I'm too fond of the lad to work for.
Yeah.
With him. No, the long-term plan is not here for him.
On a separate subject, GA-wise, I know you're involved in the GA here in town. I don't know, what you involved in?
Yeah.
I know Ethan plays football away.
Yeah, on the fringes now.
Yeah. What's you're an officer in the GA?
I was an officer secretary, but I'm not secretary anymore. But both of us will be involved with the football teams here.
Okay. And that's a crucial part of the community as well.
That's
to actually
huge,
be
yeah.
involved
Huge,
in.
It's great to be part of any team to be involved.
Yeah.
And,
Towards that. I wouldn't have been, being honest, up until about maybe 5 years ago, when I was sort of asked to help out with a minor team, and I found myself getting more and more involved in it, and maybe I should have done it years ago. It's the GA itself is often gets hammerings, but sure what an organisation doesn't. And the roots are in no more than ourselves that go back, well, not 100 years literally, but part and parcel of a town.
You'd have an uncle, isn't it, that's in England that's very involved with the G as well.
Yeah,
Bernard.
Bernard
Yeah.
was, he was president of the Great Britain.
Okay.
Yeah.
I knew he was...
He's part. Yeah, he went over whenever he went over. He was involved with Roger Casement and kind of went through that. He was with the Warwickshire board, and that went on to president of Great Britain for many terms or so. But
yeah, next thing to the throne at one point.
I think it was an excuse for lads to go over a few times as well.
That happened
a
often.
few junkets now.
And play football.
Yeah. If it didn't get in the way of other activities.
Yeah. Well, Keanes Kitchens historically have always been involved and sponsored the Good Fellowship and gone back, I don't know, many years. There was the first sponsors of that. It's something we often talk about reviving that, and maybe that might be something we do in the future because of the good competition.
Yeah. The other thing that comes to mind is we mentioned Seamus Marin earlier on, the man that nobody's heard of, but you'd have a few staff here with long service as well, wouldn't you? Maybe it's
well, I suppose,
to mention them.
well, we had a retirement party there a couple of years ago for Paddy Murphy. Paddy Murphy retired on to the day of his 50th anniversary here. Wow. So he was 50 years here.
You don't get that type of service anymore.
No.
And as Seamus is still here, he's still selling kitchens.
He sells kitchens on behalf of himself.
Yeah.
He'd service the local trade. If someone wanted a one-off kitchen, it's to Seamus they'd go.
Okay.
And he'd come to us, we build a kitchen. But in terms of one-off and local trade, you can't just say no to people. People want a kitchen, so
Seamus does a good job on that. Yeah.
We
have two other lads there that would be here probably 20 odd years. The rest of them are relatively new, so you don't get the long-term service that Paddy gave or even the two other lads. It's very rare, isn't it?
Yeah. But they're integral to it, like.
Yeah.
And then Benny, isn't she?
Of course, Benny's here. Yeah.
Benny's
She's
here 2 or 3 years as well.
Yeah. We won't say how long.
No,
she might appreciate it.
Could be dangerous territory. Yeah. Okay, well, look, we've covered a lot there now. I don't know if there's anything else you want to share with people or not, but my main objective here is to let people know what's going on here in the town in general and here specifically.
Yeah.
And I think you have a wonderful operation here. You're a credit to yourselves and to your family and to the town.
Thank you
Hopefully,
very much.
Hopefully we'll knock a few more years out of it, and you'll knock a few more years out of it and continue to provide the service and the standard that you've been providing for third generation now. And it's an example again of what's available here in town, which is families passing on the business from father to son and carrying on the same level of, in a different environment. The environment today, just the thing I forgot to mention was, do you have any virtual thing now? Do you website?
Yeah, well, of course, KaneKitchens.ie is there. We wouldn't be doing any selling through it. It's more just a brochure, so that we can send links to people, and we would be doing a lot of our work now in terms of design and backing over with contractors. Say I'd be doing all the design work, kitchens and 3D images and stuff like that. All of that would be done online. I suppose one of the benefits of the pandemic was people got used to having virtual meetings, and you didn't have to get into a car. Now, every kitchen that goes out of here, I'd have measured it, because if it goes wrong, that'd be on us or me.
And do you design them yourselves?
Yeah.
And is it CAD or what?
Yeah, it's a version of CAD. It's a kitchen-specific CAD system.
Okay.
So if you can do that, you can show people what they're getting, obviously, and makes it easier to people understand what they're getting. More importantly, it's not. I thought I was getting this.
People like to see it as well before you get a lot of that.
Yeah. So as you said, things have changed since 1937.
Yeah, it's moved a lot since the pencil and the paper. Yeah.
Not even that. Even the machinery as well.
Yeah.
You've to keep up with the volume. You have to upgrade machinery to CNC bore machines, edge banders, beam saws. So all that has to. And
the original machine then is obsolete.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, very little use to it. If things
little enough, you might shift a couple on to a lad's starting up or a smaller workshop or stuff like that.
It might take a trade in or something as well if you're upgrading.
Okay. So. Yeah. Well, look at again. We covered a lot there today, and I think you have an incredible setup here, an incredible business, and I wish you both well in the future, and maybe the next generation will take it on again to 2037 or thereafter. So, look, thanks for taking the time out with us today, Emmet Patrick and Emmet, and best of luck to you in the future. Thanks very much.
Thanks a lot.